Live is brought to you by Isklar, Intersport, Windforce, Bundegruppen, and Renault.
Welcome back to Norseman Live. I am Helen Webster and a huge welcome to episode 3 of today's broadcasting. The title of this broadcast is Up, Down, Repeat, and we're going to show you why with some amazing footage from today's race so far. But for now, I'm in transition 2 and I'm joined by Stuart McInnes, who is CAO and El Presidente of Norseman. Welcome, Stuart.
Thanks, Helen.
Now, Stuart has to run off a mountain in a minute to meet the race, so I'm just going to ask him a few questions about the format of today's race and how it's all unfolding. So, Stuart, today this is the first time we've launched the World Championships here at Norseman. So you've got a race within a race going on, which is super exciting. So tell us a little bit about the decision to do that.
Well, we did that because we now have 12 races in the X-Tri World Tour, and there are obviously a number of people who compete at a high level in these races. Many people just want to finish them. I mean, that's the point of an X-Tri. But we do have a number of people who are capable and love to compete at the top level. So we've created the World Championships to give them the opportunity to do that and to win an X-Tri, become the World Championship on the original course at Norseman. This is obviously the original X-Tri course. Many would argue the best course. Many would argue not the best course. We'll stick with the best for today.
Yeah, well, it's certainly known as one of the world's most extreme triathlons, if not the most extreme.
Yeah.
And this morning you sent around 40 athletes out 5 minutes before the general field wearing green swim caps to identify them, and they were the best in the sport.
They were indeed, yes, and that was obviously a decision so that we wouldn't end up with too much of a mix-up in the field, although we already have a mix-up because there are clearly some really good athletes in the main field of Norseman today as well.
Yeah, and how did those people qualify? How did they get to be in that field?
Well, the other races in the tour that take place around the world last year had some qualifying spots. So the winner, the first, second, male and female from each race qualified for the World Championships, and in the Norseman, the top 10 qualified as well.
Okay. And are they still competing for that famous black T-shirt? Is that what they get?
They get the World Championship black T-shirt. So yes, it's a slightly different thing. There'll still be a separate winner of the Norseman today, and there'll be a world champion. So there will be 2 winners, or 4 actually, on the top.
You know, it amazes me that people come to this race and they don't get a medal, they don't get big prize money, they're doing it for a black T-shirt. And now there's like an ultra special black T-shirt.
Well, that's very true, yes. But that T-shirt is such a prized possession, and once people have it, you see photos of people all around the world, and you see them threadbare. They wear them until they wear out completely.
And tell us a little bit about the World Series. So obviously there's qualifying races. How is that series evolving?
It's evolving very well. I mean, each year we introduce 2 or 3 new races in really exciting places. So it's a kind of a slow growth, but we now have them in places like Patagonia and Scotland and Switzerland and Italy. There's many exciting places to go and try out a race that's very like Norseman in concept, but completely different in course.
Yeah, and what if you were going to advise people to do maybe their first extreme triathlon race, which one would you send them to? Either to be kind of really nice or really mean?
Well, there's no way to answer that question because all of them have difficult parts and some have slightly easier parts, but all of these races are about the same distance. They all have mountains and they all are in places where the weather can be absolutely terrible. Clearly not here today.
No, this is kind of freakish weather, right?
It's freakish. It's really hot today, yes. Really unusual.
I know you've got to run off, Stuart, because you've got 1,000,001 things to do today, but just before you go, how's the race going for you today, like here? I mean, how is it all happening in your eyes?
It's obviously quite difficult for us to follow it on the ground. It's easier for the people at home to follow it, but so far it's really close at the top end and it's going to be an exciting finish, really exciting finish for sure.
Okay. Stuart, thank you so much for the recap. I'm going to let you go and do your work today, and you've got lots to do. We'll see you hopefully at the top of Gauss to Toppen, so thank you. We're going to go back now to a recap from the bike course from this morning, and we've got Stuart in the studio with plenty of properly geeky bike information for you. So I'll hand over to him now, Stuart.
So we're on the bike course now, and we can see Hans Christian, who's descending down Emmingfell. We can see 80 kilometres an hour, which is incredible speed. We can see he's riding in a really aerodynamic tuck position, just creating as little drag as possible, and that's an incredible speed to be travelling at. You can see he's tucked in really tight. He's actually sitting on the top tube of the bike off the seat, which just gives him that tighter position, so he's creating as little drag as possible on the bike. We're seeing some nice aerial shots here of recapping back to the bike over the old road, heading up towards Durenut earlier in the day. We can see some of the bike riders from the main Norseman field riding up the climb. So just to help you understand then, some of the riders here we can see obviously pedalling away and just getting into the momentum. Actually, some of them seem to be enjoying themselves. So we can see different types of bike setup here. We've got a rider riding a time trial front end, which is nice and aerodynamic. Some other riders choosing to ride a road setup, which is much more comfortable, but also really quite good for descending. See a rider there sitting up and getting some momentum. We're seeing now at the front of the field Hans Christian, who is in a really nice tucked aerodynamic position. We can see him riding a full triathlon time trial setup and full carbon disc. It's followed by Marius Elvedar, and we can see Marius has just picked up some nutrition from his support team, and he's also riding that same time trial setup, as is Alan Hovda, who's in third position, moving through Durenut. Again, Alan's position is extremely aerodynamic, and we can see now one of the riders, who I'm unsure who that is at the moment, but he's just decided to go straight past and not take any support, just continuing on without picking up any extra nutrition and support there. We're looking at some beautiful images down onto the old road, which is near the waterfalls at Voringfossen in the Mobile Valley. Spectacular shots here. We can see the riders moving in through the tunnel and some of the support team, the support vehicles, who'll be with them all day. And now we're cutting back and we can see we have Alicia Blanco here from Mexico, and she's looking like she's obviously been careful not to push too hard up the climb. We can see there's a slow turnover. We can see Alicia is riding a bike with deep carbon wheels, deep section carbon wheels, and they're very, very good for aerodynamics when you're moving fast. We can see another rider who's just come along. That's number 389, who's Anthony Zara from France. He's riding a road setup, aerodynamic helmet, and you can see he's just checking his watch, maybe just checking his pacing, maybe checking his heart rate as well. He's geared in the small front chainring, which will be a 39, which makes sense on these climbs. It's a long day. You don't want to be spending too much energy too early on the bike ride. We're moving up to number 285. 285's Kelly Langley, and he's from Essex in the UK. Looks like Kelly's having a good time. Yep, absolutely. And he is, obviously you can see he has his aerodynamic water bottle on the front of his bike, and he has quite a exaggerated front end with the time trial bars pointing up in this kind of a mantis position. We're looking down, some beautiful drone shots here, looking down on the old road, crossing over the water that comes off the waterfall. Really nice footage here. We can see the riders moving through such a beautiful landscape. Moving across to our race leader, Hans Christian. He is riding really nice tight TT position, as we were explained earlier. And we have the riders here. Obviously riders further back in the Norseman field, these riders are just trying to get themselves set up for a long day, moving up through the tunnel, and the temperature can change quite often in the tunnel, whereas they enter there and they've come out the swim and they're starting to get up to temperature, and they head into the tunnel. It can actually be quite cold. Riding there, just keeping into the right, and we can see the support vehicles are moving up through past them on the left hand side. There's no support allowed at this stage. The riders have to look after themselves until they're safely out of the tunnel, and then they're able to get support. It looks like some people are actually quite enjoying some of these really tough climbs, moving out through the tunnel. There's 3 tunnels and 3 bridges in and around that area in Våringfoss, and it's really spectacular. This scenery is incredible. I've been fortunate enough myself to be able to do Norseman before, and it's such a spectacular area to ride your bike in. It's really, these riders are really fortunate to be able to do this. We're now seeing one of the riders up the field. This number 28 is Pierre Gasperu, and Pierre's got obviously the time trial bike. It's really quite a deep aero carbon bike he's riding. We can see he's riding a full disc rear and what looks like an 80mm, 80 centimetre front end. So we're moving on across to Alan Hovda, and Alan is very technical in relation to his bike setup. What's quite unique about Alan's setup here, we see he's using a time trial setup at the front. He's using Morph Tribe bars, which actually sit in a time trial position at the front. And what happens is he descends, he can pull these bars out to the side. So that's quite unique. We see there that Marius Alvedar has a traditional time trial front end, where he has his carbon bars for the uphills, where he can relax with his hands in the side. And when he's racing on a time trial position, he can be on the front end. We're seeing some beautiful shots here. This is across the plateau on the Hardangervidda. Some really quite amazing scenery here as we see the riders moving through the landscape, and we see a lot of the support vehicles maybe moving ahead to help catch up and support the riders. It's sometimes up in the plateau, the weather can be really changeable. Today, the riders have got beautiful conditions. We can see the sun shining down, casting a shadow on the rider, and it's really such a beautiful place to be able to ride your bike, moving through the national park of Hardangervidda. Beautiful shots here. And we can see there's a whole landscape and a whole area here where it's just really quite scenic and really quite majestic. Watching these riders move through here. And this is riders that are back through the field. Some of the riders just riding in the main field, which is the Norseman race. As we explained before, there's 2 races today within a race. There's the X-Tri World Championship race, and there's the Norseman race. 2 separate races taking place in one race. So we can see some really beautiful shots here as we see some of the riders moving through, some riders moving nicely through the field. There's some of the competitors today will be stronger across some of the disciplines, and we can see one of the riders here just moving nice and gently through the field. One thing as well that you have to be really quite careful of in a race like Norseman that's such a long day is that you have to be careful that you don't put in too much effort too early, because the race is made up 3.8k swim, there's a 180 kilometre bike, and it's followed by a 42.2 kilometre marathon finishing on a mountaintop finish. And we're back across with our race leader. Our race leader is Hans Christian Tugsvig. He's having an amazing race today. I was speaking to Hans Christian during the week, and he was really excited about this race today, and he felt in really great shape. He's been and raced Norseman before, and I think he's really stepped his game up, and he's going to be really, really hard to beat today. And we can see him there, he's getting really nice momentum on the bike. You can see a nice cadence. He's turning the pedals over really nice and smooth. We can see he's riding time trial setup there, full carbon disc rear. We can see him riding with Marcus Elvedal in second place behind him. Marcus also very strong athlete who's positioned very highly in Norseman last year. He finished 4th, which is a fantastic result, and I expect he'll be fighting for podium position this year as well. So what it's looking like, just to recap on where we're at on the bike, we have Hans Christian Tugsvig, who's right up at the front of the race, being followed by Marcus Elvedal and Alan Hovda in 3rd position. So those 3 are really starting to pull the to the front of the bike, and it's just shaping up to be a really great race today. We can see the support vehicles moving up through the field, and the riders off the road riding up towards Durenut. Durenut is 40 kilometres into the bike, and it's quite a tough climb. This is you can see as we look back down the valley, it's such a tough climb. We're now across here with Hans Christian, who's having a descending here. We can see we've cut back to the shot showing how fast he's riding down here. He's up to 80 kilometres an hour descending here down one of these really quite tough technical descents. You have to be really careful here, because at that kind of speed you cannot make any mistakes, and there's some quite sharp turns. As we can see, he's just been very careful about keeping the bike in position. We can see that really aerodynamic position he's going. He's really reducing drag as much as he possibly can. He's sitting on the top tube of the bike, and he's got his knees tucked in really tight and his arms in really close. We see he's actually even got his face placed against the front carbon tri-bars. That is as aerodynamic a position as you could probably get. We can see he's using full aerodynamic helmet and full tri setup. Yep, that's just a masterclass in descending on a time trial bike. We can see he's lifting himself now back up, and now he's starting to apply the power as the road flattens out a bit. Really nice smooth pedal strokes here. Just going back to my conversation with Hans, he was really excited about today, and he said he was giving this race everything that he had. And there's going to be tough competition, because we can see right now this is Alan Hovda. Alan, obviously Norseman winner 3 times, incredible athlete, as is Marius Elvedal, who's just came through in 3rd position. So this is an athlete we've not seen so far today, Jerome Bresson. Jerome is recently this year won Canada Man, and he's a strong athlete. He was at Norseman last year and finished up the field. Jerome finished 7th there, and I think he'll be expecting to improve on that this year. He's in really great shape. So we've also got nice footage here. We're seeing some of the riders that are going to be still battling for podium position. We've got Christian Rushman. Christian's from Switzerland. He had a fantastic race to finish 2nd at the Swissman race, and he's definitely going to be competing for possibly podium position, and he'll certainly be far up the race. Obviously deciding to push through the field. Not quite sure who that was he passed, but these guys will be tussling and they won't be giving anything away, as we can see him approaching up through the field, getting nice momentum as he's riding up here. We can see also that some of the riders are choosing to carry their drinks on the rear of the bike. That's just to help with aerodynamics, where the bottle's positioned behind them rather than on the down tube of the bike. It's just a preference thing. Some riders prefer that, some prefer not. Sometimes getting up off his bike just really to press the pedals a bit. You have to be careful not to be stamping on the pedals too much, because that will create a lot of fatigue. We have to remember at the end of this 180km bike ride, there's the small matter of a 42.2k run to the top of Gaustatoppen, which is one of the highest mountains in Norway. A spectacular finish we'll see there. And we can see Christian Rushman. Christian is moving through. I think he's probably looking for his support, and it's really important that your support team are with you throughout the day. He's obviously probably going to look to do a switch for nutrition. Yeah, we can see he's handed over his bottles. Yeah, actually, maybe he's actually slowing down to a stop. So really important to maintain your nutrition throughout the day. We're seeing footage here of Alan Hovda, who's sitting in 2nd place. We're all probably familiar with Alan now. Alan's 3 times Norseman winner, and we can see that he's driving uphill here, ensuring nutrition, getting that on board. I was speaking to Alan the week before last, and he was just discussing his bike position and his training. He's in the best shape of his life as well, and he was really want to really establish a really strong performance today, as we're seeing. Back to the discussion about Christian there, Christian Rushman. He's just ensuring he gets the nutrition in, getting the food down, and he's obviously past the support team who are making sure that he's keeping on top of that. Quite an interesting approach here from Christian. He's decided to, again, trying to get as aerodynamic as possible here. He's actually putting his arms under his bars. That's something that you don't see very often.
So this is the last long climb on the bike course here at Norseman, and he's absolutely smashing this race. This is Hans Christian Tungsvik just kind of making his way up this final ascent, and he is leading this race. Not too far behind him is last year's winner, Alan Hovda, and then we have Marius race, and this is Alan Hovda. Now, Alan is a fantastic athlete, and he is so meticulous about his training. Anyone that wants to know more, just follow Alan on Facebook. He's got his own page there. He details his training and all the stuff he's been up to, and yeah, he just kind of is constantly testing his performance and waving for the camera. Good work, Alan. All these top 3 male athletes, they all live and train in Norway. So these 3 guys, they're all super used to these hills. They know these roads inside out. Alan has actually won this race, I believe, 3 times before. So he's hopefully looking for his 4th victory. To the media cars, that will be the mighty Filippo Collar, I would imagine, who is helping me co-present today. So there's Filippo overtaking us on his way to Gaustatoppen. Now, we're now seeing another athlete coming up the hill, and this will be Marius Elvedal, our 3rd placed athlete, but very little between these 3 athletes on this final climb here. Marius, again, fantastic Ironman distance competitor, and he's, again, living and training in Norway. So, you know, these guys aren't coming here not knowing what to expect. You know, they're really aware of the course ahead of them, and they know what they're going to be racing on. He's looking super focused there. Actually, no, it's number 23, so I'm not sure if... I think that is Marius Elvedal, sorry. So, yeah, he's looking super focused going on that hill. You know, not much time to smile for the camera. He's really kind of focusing on closing in on Alan Hovde by looks of it.
Hi, it's Stuart McLeod here. We're back on the course, on the bike course. Thank you, Helen. That's we're seeing one of the riders here, just obviously climbing, just working away, climbing, and obviously it's quite far into the bike course now. So some of these riders now are really going to be feeling quite fatigued. This is rider number 32. This is Andre Jonsson Navjar, who he's quite a young athlete. Actually, he's been doing some really good results. He's quite new to Extreme Tri, the longer course. And this is one of the riders who we can see, number 332, which tells us that he's not actually riding in the X-Tri World Championship race. But this is one of the really strong riders that's been coming through the field from the Norseman race, and he is currently leading the Norseman race by quite a way. Really strong ride, and I think you'll find that he will be riding probably into the X-Tri World Champ field. He's having such a good day. This is Joe Ringheim, and he's from Oslo in Norway. So another Norwegian rider. There's lots of strong Norwegians here today. So we're across here with rider number 33, and rider number 33 who's been coming through all day, and we can see he is that's Mikael Raga. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but Mikael is from he's from Poland. So it's great to see Polish riders moving up through the field. Because I says the Norwegians are dominating, so he's riding up through the field. We can see he's actually riding his bike setup. We can see he has disc brakes on his bikes, which are becoming much more popular. So we're seeing probably that's looking like one of the last climbs, and this is Marcus Elvedal. Marcus is sitting in third position. Having been overtaken by Alan Hovde. So he's just working his way up the climb when we're quite far into the bike now, and some of these riders will now start to feel quite tired. Even the strongest riders at the front of the field, they will still be starting to feel really quite tired. They know that they have a really tough run ahead, and that run is really going to be key to the results today and the outcome. This is Christian Grue. We're seeing Christian Grue. He's ex-biathlete, and he's actually reasonably new to triathlon, and this is incredible riding. I mean, Christian is a super strong athlete. He's obviously transferred his biathlete skills, and he's across now doing X-Tri, and he's really up the field. I mean, Christian's sitting in 4th, 5th position in the field, and he's looking really strong. I spoke to Christian during the week, and he was really excited about doing a result today, and he felt that he could possibly do a top 5, and right now Christian's in a position to be up there. So it'll be really interesting to see how he can do today. You can see he's driving up the hill here. He's got that time trial set up, and he's looking really in good shape. Really confident, standing up, pushing up the hill. This is the last climb across Emmingfell. It's such a beautiful scene. So leaving you now, cutting back, leaving you with Alan Hovde as he's climbing up the hill, and it's back over to Helen.
Welcome back to Norseman Live and the third episode of our broadcast today. Now, this episode is up, down, repeat, and I hope we've started to show you a little bit of the kind of environment, the kind of terrain, the mountains that these guys are racing in today. I mean, up, down, repeat just about describes it. So we've had some really exciting things happening in the race while we've been watching that bike recap, but I'm going to chat to you about transition for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to go to a live leaderboard update. So for those of you that are desperate to know what's happening at the front of the race, give us 10 minutes and we'll give you all the information. But for now, I'm just going to do a quick run through of what's happening here in T2, which is Triathlon Talk for Transition 2. So this is where the athletes come in when they finish the bike leg. So it's basically the transition for bike to run. And I know a lot of you will know this already, but for people that are new to transition and just kind of wondering what's happening in this sport, what are these guys doing here, we'll do a quick run through. So I'm going to make my lovely cameraman Robin, who's been very patient with me, follow me over here, and we'll do a start of transition walkthrough. So basically, the guys come in over here and might be able to see, oh, there's a bike coming in here now, look. So one of our athletes comes into transition. He comes across this line and he has to dismount his bike. We don't allow any cycling in transition, and that's for safety reasons. And you'll find that in every triathlon you do. So our cyclist runs down here. He meets up with his support crew who've already kind of beaten him here in the car, and they've got all his stuff waiting for him. So his support take his bike off him. This is great. They've got a little chair ready for him. That's like super organised. So our cyclist here takes his shoes off, takes his helmet off. He's being fairly quick, but also it's good to be methodical here. I mean, it's a long race. You want to make sure that you're comfortable, that you've got everything covered. So looks like we're doing a quick change of kit here as well, which we might need to spare some blushes in a minute, but so yeah, the athlete, well, yeah, cut back to me, Robin, it's all good. So our athlete will change their clothing, kind of take off or put on anything that they feel they need for the rest of the race. And basically, this is where they're getting ready to run. So they're getting ready to run 42.2 kilometres. That's a marathon distance in the mountains in what's now turning out to be a very hot, unusually sunny day here in Norway for Norseman. We can see some more bikes coming in here now, again walking through, wheeling the bikes. Now this athlete we can see here now in the red and black, this is Paul, and he's wearing a tri-suit, so he probably won't be changing his clothing, so he will probably be much speedier in and out, much like the pros we would see at the start of the field. I mean, they're literally doing it as quickly as they can, so looks like we're just kind of taking some nutrition maybe. He's swapping over some things that he doesn't need for next leg, handing those to his support team. We've got sponges here as well, which is quite cool. So there's iced water sponges that you can use to cool yourself off. But this guy, like, he's just pulling his shoes on here. Now, you can see actually, he's got these bright green laces in his shoes. They're elastic laces, and they're used in triathlon to save time. So rather than tying his laces, he literally pulls the elastic tie, pulls the toggle in, and he's ready to go. There's no tying bows or faffing around. So we can watch him do that maybe. So there we go. Pulls the elastic tie, pulls the toggle in, and his shoes done up. So everything's about saving time, marginal gains. And if you want that black t-shirt, then every second helps here. You don't want to miss that white black t-shirt cut off by a couple of minutes. And know it was all down to kind of things that you could have affected differently in your race. So our athlete here now is taking on some nutrition, some sports drink. He's probably got some sugar, some electrolytes in there, replacing lots of fluids, freezing cold sponge over the head. Checks his watch, and he's running and out towards the exit here and onto the run course. And he's setting a pretty good pace as well. There's a clean pair of heels there. And my cameraman Robin is running to keep up with him, bless him, which is really good of him. It's a hot day for us as well, but we're not doing 226 kilometres in this heat. So, you know, we've got the easy job. Oh, right, so a few other things to say about transition. As we came in, there's a little orange tent on the way in. Now, that's the penalty box. You can see the big flag there that says penalty box. Now, one of our athletes earlier that was in third place, Marius Elvedal, he got a penalty on the course for something. We're not actually sure what yet. We've been trying to find out, but maybe Stuart in the studio has a better idea. But Marius had to come in, and because of his penalty, which could be for maybe drafting another cyclist, maybe kind of traffic violation, some sort of traffic violation, taking outside provide support from someone he shouldn't have. Like, we don't know what it was, but whatever that violation was, he would have had to sit in that little orange tent for a couple of minutes and wait for everybody else to kind of come in. So Marius lost his third place sadly there, and he's now in fourth, I believe, because of that. So yeah, it's really hard to kind of make sure that you keep on top of the rules and regulations. Oh, that's a super happy athlete. He's waving his bottle of, I hope it's Isklar water at our cameraman there. But he looked, oh, he's giving us thumbs up. It was. There we go. But yeah, he looks super strong. It's brilliant. I mean, the athletes we're seeing now on the course, it's 12:30 in the afternoon, and they started at 5 o'clock this morning. So that's what, 7.5 hours of racing. So they're maybe about an hour and a half after the pros at the front of the field. So it's quite a lot of racing still on what's turning out to be a very hot day. But I mean, these guys have trained for this. They know what they're doing. You know, they're super strong. So still good. And we've got a female athlete here by the looks of it, just doing her shoes, and she has amazing socks. I'm very jealous. What are those, donuts? Yeah, do you want to give us a quick word from Norseman Live while you do your laces up?
Yeah, that's fine. I am in no rush to get on the run. That was the most amazing, brutal, but like just incredible bike ride ever. So hard, but just, oh my goodness, I just couldn't stop smiling. It was amazing.
Is this your first time?
Oh God, yeah. I've never done an extreme try. It's just, and I don't know if I could ever do another triathlon after this. It's just so amazing. And I know this is going to be awful and amazing at the same time, but oh, yeah.
You're doing a great job. Give us your name for the camera for Norseman Live.
It's Kelly. And I don't know what I'm doing in this group of people, but it's just amazing to be here.
Well, Kelly here is doing very well. I mean, she's mixing it with the best of the age group athletes in the Norseman main field. So, you know, and she looks... She's just said to me she apologised if she smelled. Well, you probably don't smell any worse than me doing the commentating in a black T-shirt, so it's all good. Okay, and there Kelly goes, like super happy as well. That's brilliant to see. And those socks, if anyone can tell me where you buy green socks with donuts on, I'd be very happy because they were amazing. Oh, so yeah, so loads of athletes coming now here, and we can see some on support running with them there, just kind of like squeezing a sponge over their head. And, you know, usually when people come to Norseman, they're thinking about how to keep warm, and, you know, so much of what we talk about is temperatures and how you're going to be chilly. But, I mean, these guys are struggling to keep cool at the moment. We'll probably see that change as they start to head up the mountain. I mean, temperatures are going to drop towards Gaustatoppen. In terms of the run course, so like we said, it's a marathon distance from here. Starts off fairly flat. I want to say flat, it's not really flat, but in Norseman terms. The big hill they all talk about is Zombie Hill, which is just a brutal ascent through switchbacks. And that takes you to 32.5 kilometres on the run course. Now, 32.5 kilometres is where the decision is made about whether you go to the top at Gaustatoppen and hopefully receive your black Norseman Finishers T-shirt, or whether you turn left, right, I don't know which one it is, whether you turn left and go to the Gauster Blick finish and do your laps in the kind of party atmosphere around the hotel to get your white Norseman Finish T-shirt. Now, that's based on being one of the first 160 athletes through that point, or meeting a certain cut-off time, which I believe is 14.5 hours, but most of the athletes through will be faster than that, so really it's about the top 160. So most people leaving here now have got a really good shot at that black T-shirt, but they have to face those hills first. So we heard a rumour this morning. Now, Robin, my cameraman's just reminded me of this story. So Alan Hovde, who you saw come through in second place here, he is so meticulous about his training. I mean, everything is analysed within an inch of its life. And we heard a rumour that Alan Hovde has worked out the exact temperature of the water they need to pour over him in transition to cool him down exactly the right amount before he starts the run leg. And I don't know if that's true or not, but maybe we can ask Alan at the finish, because it sounds like the sort of thing he would do. He is that kind of analytical about his training, so we will see. But for these guys here, it is literally a bucket of sponges, cold water over the head, cool yourself off and then start the run. So we've got quite a few athletes here, like one down here is having sun cream applied to himself. I mean, like I said, it's a really hot day here, so, you know, sun cream is an absolute. Just trying to keep yourself as cool as possible. The other thing to say about the run is once you get to that cut-off point and once your support runner joins you, you have to have a rucksack of essential kit with you. Every athlete has to have it. Every support crew has to have it. It's really important because it has all your kind of warm clothing, your nutrition, your hydration, in case conditions do change on the mountain, which they can do very quickly. So although these guys are dressed for summer now, by the time they get to the bottom of the mountain, they're going to be in kind of a rucksack of stuff they could put on if they need to. And we're just watching our female athletes go there. I think that was one of our pro fields. She had a green number on. I'm not sure what her name was. Didn't quite catch it. Her first name was Benedicta, apparently, from France. If anyone's watching Benedicta from France, she's just gone through transition. Really quite a quick transition there. I think she had a banana or something, bit of sun cream on, then went. So, yeah, she's looking strong, which is really good. I mean, these athletes, they need to be running at this point because it's still quite a long day ahead of them. I mean, it's a full marathon. So most of them will start off running, and then once they get to Zombie Hill, I mean, it's not called Zombie Hill for nothing. Like, that's what they look like by the time they get there. Hey, how are you doing today? Do you have a few words for Norseman Live?
It's amazing.
Yeah?
So beautiful. At the beginning it was first, and after the sun was coming on the top, so it was crazy.
Is it what you expected? Are you from France?
From Belgium.
Oh, Belgium. And is this the sort of weather you've been training in?
It's my first triathlon ever, so I start with Norseman, and that's perfect. So now it's time to running, but I have some cramps, so I need to manage sometime my legs.
We'll let you get back to that. Give us your name for the camera.
Gauthier.
Gauthier from Belgium. And this is his first ever triathlon. I mean, I did my first triathlon and it was a super sprint in a local lake. It was not Norseman. I mean, anyone that comes here and takes this on as their first triathlon has my absolute respect. I mean, all of these athletes do, but yeah, for that guy, that's just crazy. So he said he was struggling with a little bit of cramp. Cramp is really common in hot weather like this. If you're losing a lot of sweat, you're losing a lot of salts, a lot of electrolytes, and you're going to need to replace those. So cramp, best things to do with that is probably to make sure your hydration's on point, that your nutrition strategy is good, and things like maybe kind of eating a banana can help. You know, kind of potassium in bananas is supposed to be really good for cramp. So yeah, lots of little tips you can find out, and certainly the Norseman website is a good place to find out more information. Meanwhile, we're just watching a few more people here coming in and out of transition, like frantically getting changed with the help of their support crew. I mean, Norseman is a point-to-point race, and it's a very extreme race, so you are allowed 2 supporters, only one of which wears the bib and runs with you up to the top of the mountain. But the support crew are invaluable. I mean, you don't get this in most triathlons. In most triathlons, you're in and out of transition on your own, doing everything by yourself. You know, you've got to make sure you've got everything organised just on your own. But at Norseman, you're allowed some help. So these guys are sorting out nutrition. They're maybe getting people in and out of kit. We've seen people having a kind of sneaky little foot massage in transition if they're starting to hurt a little bit. So it's all sorts of stuff going on. And yeah, Robin's just pointed out we've got a lucky towel by the looks of it going on. I don't know what cartoon character that is on there. I'm from Britain. It's not one I've seen again. Captain and Selbatan by the looks of it. Pirate. Lucky pirate towel. There we go. Absolutely brilliant. One of our athletes. Do you have a quick word for Norseman Live?
Mükemmel. It means perfect in Turkish. Lifetime experience.
Okay, our athlete there just said that his one word for us here was perfect. He thinks this is perfect. So glad he's having a really good race here. So we're going to leave transition for a little while, let these athletes get on with what they're doing. I mean, some great scenes here. Everyone's super busy and excited. But we're going to go back to the studio now, where Stuart is going to talk you through the leaderboard. And I've had a sneaky little look, and I know there's been some big developments in the leaderboard, so it's worth staying tuned in for. So Stuart, we'll go back to you now.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you. You look like you're having way too much fun in the transition too. It looks nice and sunny, and obviously the race is really taking shape. So if we get onto the leaderboard, we can see quite an interesting development now. We can see that Alan Hovda is moved into the lead. Alan's overtaken Hans Christian Tusvig on the run. There's 1:15. And that's quite an interesting development at the front of the race. There's a gap back to 3rd, 4th position, which is Christian Gru and Jarl Romskog. They're obviously tussling out together, racing for the 3rd place there. So there's really interesting development. We have a really, really close battle here for 1st, 2nd and 3rd, 4th. One thing that's interesting here as the runners are now approaching, and Helen mentioned that Zombie Hill is going to be coming now for the athletes, and that can really, really change things. I mean, Zombie Hill up towards the mountain and Gaustatoppen, a lot of things can change there, and I think this is where the race will really take shape. I think the winner will be decided on the approach in Zombie Hill. So it's looking really good. It's a Norway 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got Marius Elvedal. Helen mentioned earlier that Marius was serving a time penalty, which is why he dropped down the field. He, I believe, was serving a 5-minute time penalty for an infringement, drafting. And that's where you're riding your bike, you have to be a distance back from the rider in front. And that's not deemed acceptable for the rules. So Marius has served his 5-minute penalty, and I think he will definitely fight his way back into the field. He's not far behind Christian and Jarl on the third, 4th position there. So it's really, really taking shape as well. And we're looking maybe further into the field as well. We've got now athletes, Polish athlete and British athlete as well, that are racing towards the top end of the field. It's quite interesting to see how that's taken shape. We're also looking as well at the women's race, and that's quite interesting, where we see Lucy Gossage is out in front. I think Lucy's got quite a comfortable lead over the field. She's out there, probably got about 23, 24 minutes to spare. Lucy Gossage, for those who know their triathlon racing, she's raced X-Tri before. She won the race in Patagonia. And she's won a number of Ironman races. I believe she's won 13 Ironman races, which is quite incredible. She's out there in the lead early on in the run. And then we're seeing in second position, we have Flora College. Flora is an athlete from the UK, but living in Switzerland, in Bâle. Flora finished 3rd in Norseman last year and is definitely looking to step up a position, but she's got a lot of time if she wants to catch Lucy, and I think really that's probably going to be too much time to even consider catching. But Flora looking in a really strong position, 2nd place there. And in 3rd place, Lynn Marie Langseth. Lynn Marie, I spoke to her earlier in the week, and she was really, really excited about putting up a really good performance today and improving on a number of really, really top finishes in Norseman. She's raced here a number of times. This will be her 5th time racing Norseman, and it would be really amazing if she could hold on for a podium position, but it's really looking tight. In the women's field, we've also got in 4th position Morgan Chaffin. Morgan was leading early on, for which she had a fantastic swim, which was really good, and she's in 4th position. And in 5th position, we've got Emma White. Emma White is from the UK, from Scotland. And this is a fantastic result for Emma. Emma has raced X-Tri before. She finished in 3rd place in the Keltman race in Scotland. And I think this is just a really, really good, strong performance from Emma, who's also a fantastic runner. So that's looking really, really good. We can see, obviously, at the front of the field now, just to recap, we've got Alan Hovda, who's now moved into the lead as they're approaching Zombie Hill, climbing up towards the top of the mountain, Gaustertoppen. Hans Christian Tusvig has slipped back a minute 15 behind Alan, but it's all still to fight for first place, without doubt. Christian Gru and Jarl Wormskog are fighting for 3rd place. So it's all looking really, really good. And it's looking really exciting, certainly in the men's battle for 1st and the men's battle for 3rd. That's looking really, really good. So we're going to head back over to Helen. So thank you.
So welcome back to Transition 2 here at Norseman 2019. I'm Helen Webster, and we've got a few minutes just to take some kind of quick interviews with people here and see what's happening. So Stuart, thank you for your update on the leaderboard. I'm kind of really looking forward to getting back to that race and seeing what's happening. So we've got a couple of athletes still here. Looks like we've got a guy sitting here on the floor just taking some energy drink. Looks like maybe, some kind of energy drink, caffeine, getting some sugar down him. That sounds about right. Hey, have you got some words for Norseman Live? How's your race going?
This is wonderful. I had a couple of these, but this is the best one I ever had.
Yeah, so this is the best triathlon you've ever done?
Yeah. It feels wonderful. And we're fortunate with the weather. You know, normally we have shit weather guarantee in Norway. But
So you're from Norway, you're Norwegian?
yeah. So I've done the ones in Switzerland and Sweden, but finally I got the one in Norway.
Tell us about your socks. You're putting really unusual socks on. I don't know if Robin can capture these here.
I never get sores on my legs, but I get between the toes.
So if we didn't quite catch those, the socks this athlete is wearing have individual little toes that he's just put his toes inside. So kind of rather than a normal sock, these are designed to kind of prevent chafing, blisters on the feet, that kind of thing. So watching this athlete get dressed now, basically, this is great telly. Good luck with the rest of your race. And they gave him a slap on his arse to get him on his way. Quick few words from the support team. How is it all going for you guys today? Are you having a good time?
We're having a good time. Yeah, it's been perfect. Yeah, it's actually my third time as a support. I've been trying to get a ticket for 6-7 times. So, but it's fun to be here anyway, and many friends doing the race this year. So, yeah, it's amazing atmosphere. So now we just focus on our friend, which is 14 minutes ahead. So our goal is to beat him. So, yeah.
And who is it you're supporting? What's his name?
His name is Stian Hasdal, and the other guy we're chasing is Nisik.
So your job now is to get back to the car and get on the road and get going, which we will let you do. Thank you so much for talking to us. Have a great rest of the day. Well, hope to see you on top of the mountain.
We will, definitely.
And this is what the support crew do. They're kind of like picking up after the athlete. So those guys, they've taken all his kind of bike kit he doesn't need anymore. They've taken his bike and they just kind of legged it back to the car. And they're going to get out onto the run course now and try and kind of beat ahead of their athlete to make sure they're ready for the next time he needs them. So again, the run course here, it's a marathon run course. It's 42.2 kilometres. It's got an insane hill or two and a potential mountain finish if you're one of the first 160 Norseman male and female athletes to make it through there. So yeah, lots still to watch for, but for now we're just doing a few more minutes here in transition. And maybe one of these supporters would like to kind of give us a few words. Hi guys, how's your day going? Have you got some words for Norseman Live?
We do. So we're supporting my wife, this guy's mum, and we're also supporting a Czech guy called Vojda, because his support team reversed a car into a ditch about 40 kilometres ago. So I've taken his transition kit. So go look out for some guy we don't know, but so far it's all going well.
Have you got a description of this guy?
No idea. Well, my daughter knows what it looks like, right?
He's got a beard and he's wearing a red top.
Well, looking out for a guy with a beard and a red top. So how are you managing supporting two different people now? That's quite an ask.
We haven't done it yet, so maybe ask us afterwards. Not sure.
And tell us a bit about your wife, who you were here to support in the first place.
Claire Campbell, yeah, she's did the Celtman last year and won a place in the Norseman this year. She's doing fantastically well, number 111, and is doing better than we thought so far. Great swim, she really enjoyed it, and she should be here in about the next 5-10 minutes. It's the run will be difficult, a bit hot for her, I think. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like a Scottish accent, and having done Celtman, is that your kind of homeland?
Rain and a bit of wind is ideal, yeah.
So you came to Norseman expecting some kind of Scottish weather, and what you got was blistering sunshine?
Yeah, pretty much, actually. Didn't quite expect this. We have got some sun cream with us, fortunately. But I think that's what Claire's biggest challenge will be, is putting up with the hot weather this afternoon. So plenty of water over the head, I think. So.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for talking to us.
No worries.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And good luck with looking out for your random rogue athlete. So we're going to head off now. So myself and Robin, we're going to head up to the point where the road ends, basically. So it's the point where road meets trail. And I love trail running, but even I'm a bit scared about our next part of the journey. But yeah, we're going to head off. We're going to see you on the run course. And if you want to find out more about that, then join us live at 3 o'clock here at Norseman Live.